Alright guys, this is the Electro-Vacuum Relay that controls the heat. It cuts off the blower when the engine's cold, as well as keeps the recirculation door open inside the car to prevent cold air from coming in the car. Once the engine temperature reaches 130 degrees Fahrenheit, this Electro-Vacuum Relay connects the blower so it works, as well as opens up the recirculation door to bring in fresh air. All right, these things will typically, like any other relay over time, lose their ability to make a firm connection, and that's why a lot of times with these cars, the heat position on the functional selector doesn't work properly. So here's typically what I've found has gone wrong with the Lincolns that I've owned. So in order to get to this, and I'll show you the location in a minute, it's right behind the glove box, attached to the heater plenum, and you got to take it out with a 5/16 or 8mm socket, and then there's a vacuum block up in here you have to unscrew as well, and then this device comes out. Then in here there'll be some heat melted posts that hold this black cap on, and what you got to do is either scrape those off with a screwdriver or drill them out or grind them off or whatever. There's 3 of them. And then once you do, this top piece will come off. Okay, then what you're left with here is these are the 2 contacts for the solenoid that energizes when the car is cold, and then these are the 2 contacts for the blower. Okay, so when you start the car up when it's cold, these 2 contacts are energized, and it pushes up a little solenoid in here, and it separates this contact. Okay, and then as the engine warms up, there's a sensor in the engine compartment attached to the block. It shuts this part off and closes those 2 points and makes a connection between these 2 terminals here. Okay, what typically happens with these is if you open this up, these terminals, these silver terminals, get oxidized and corroded from the sparks with it going on. It does a tiny little spark each time it goes on, and over the course of the years it carbonizes on here and makes the connection poor. So basically what you've got to do is get in there and just lightly sand off these connections in there with a piece of sandpaper. Hold on, I'll show you what I mean. So you want to get in here and just go in between these connections with a piece of sandpaper. I use 180 grit and just kind of go back and forth. You can even put a little pressure on here while you're going back and forth, and then blow it out, or use a compressed air to blow it out, and then you should get them nice and clean like that on both sides, top and bottom, and that should do it. That should fix your issue. Okay, so what I'll do now is we'll go in the car and I'll give you a demonstration on how it works. All right, here's a demonstration on how it works. Obviously you don't probably need to do this in your car, but you'll be able to see how it operates and how it works. Again, these 2 are the it's the interrupt for the blower, and then these back 2 silver contacts are the energizer for when it's cold. So right now the car is cold. It hasn't been started up today, so it's going to energize and separate those contacts. Watch this. See that? And now the blower is off. Okay, I'm going to tilt this slightly to simulate once the car's warmed up. See, you can hear the blower on now, and the contacts are closed. Again, this is a cold start, and then once the engine temperature reaches 130 degrees Fahrenheit, power to these silver blade connectors is lost, and it makes power connecting these 2 here so that the blower operates, as well as moves the vacuum portion switch on the bottom of this, no longer down here by my thumb, and that will make the connection there so that it brings in outside air. So there you have it. That's how this electro-vacuum relay works. On this car, it mounts up in here. This is a 1978 Continental Mark V. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing, get the cap back on here and get her going. All right, here's how we can reinstall this device here. So when you put the cap back on, again, you wanna, mine had enough, I just snapped it in and it's fine. But you could put a dab of glue on those 3 points there if you want. But here's how it goes back in. So you've got the vacuum portion here. There's a vacuum block that goes on. This is where the screw goes. So you just want to put this in place here. And then there's a speed nut that goes on here. And you just snug this down. You don't want to go too hard because you don't want to break anything. This is old stuff. So that's on there good. And then you want to take the connector here, snap that in, and let's see, where's this go? Up there. And then there's a screw that goes in here. Got it. Tighten that up. Again, just snug this stuff up. None of this stuff under the dash you want to tighten too hard, because, I mean, just where it's snug. That's it. It's installed. Then you just put the glove box back in.